shocking scenes at the Sabarimala temple in Kerala, where protesters, angry with the Supreme Court verdict that allows all women to enter, were preventing women from going inside today. For centuries, the tradition has been not to allow women who are menstruating inside. But the court recently overruled that, saying that it violated the fundamental rights of women. In a clear and brazen defiance of the top court, those against the verdict resorted to violence and intimidation today in order to stop women from going inside. They threw stones. They attacked women journalists. They intimidated small children and families, forcing many of them to turn back. The police tried in some cases, but in other cases, they also just stood there, shying away, preferring to take cover rather than ensuring the safety of women who wanted to go into the shrine. Eventually, as the situation worsened, the police clashed with protesters, detaining many. But until now, not a single woman has been able to reach even Pamba, that's the base camp before Sabarimala, let alone the temple itself. And while we were talking about the intimidation and the ugly scenes that we saw today, this is a report that my colleague Sneha Koshi sent us earlier in the day when she and our camera person Babu were trying to film this trek up to the temple. This is what happened to them.
Absolute chaos here. This is the trek route from Pamba to Sabarimala. And this vehicle that you are seeing right now had 4 police personnel. And ironically, that vehicle was covered in an attempt to hide the police personnel. And that vehicle was being taken further up, perhaps as a security measure. The devotees, the protesting devotees, they chased this vehicle down and found that the police officials, police personnel were sitting inside that vehicle, and they forced those police personnel to get off this vehicle, creating absolute ruckus and mayhem here. This is the kind of intimidation, this is the kind of fear psychosis and the fear that is at work here that devotees, protesting devotees, are trying to create here. Well, here they are, police personnel, all of them have gathered here, and here are also protesting, and here you can see, well, here we are being right now roughed up. My camera person right now is being stopped. We are being heckled. The camera is right now being stopped. They are trying to block the camera here. We are not being allowed to even report. This is absolute chaos. We came here to order. We came here to order. This is absolute chaos. This is absolute intimidation.
And it wasn't just Sneha and our team there from NDTV. There were crews from Republic TV, from CNN, IBN, from India Today and other media organizations. Women journalists who were roughed up. They had their hair pulled. They had their cameras taken and smashed. They had stones thrown at their cars. It is absolutely unacceptable what has gone down there on the ground today. My colleagues Sneha Koshi and Maya Sharma now joining us from the location, and it's been a very, very tough day for both of them. It's not actually safe for them entirely. It's terrible to have to say this, to be even able to report this story. And Maya, to you first, you in fact just sent us quite a horrific account of what happened to you and your team as you were driving near the temple premises. What happened?
That is correct. We were in Nilakal for the full day, actually reporting from the base camp there. And we started coming down the hill from Nilakal just before 8 o'clock. It's a dark forest road. There is pretty much very little traffic. It was very dark. And we saw this bus with its window screen smashed both front and back. And we thought, that's a good place because we were supposed to do a live at 8 o'clock. That's a good place to actually set up our 3G equipment and do the live. So we did a U-turn in our car, which meant that it looked as if we were heading back towards Nilakal and towards the Sabarimala area. Immediately, our car was surrounded by 10 to 15 men who began hammering on the windows, hammering on the door, shouting, yelling, lighting up the insides of the car with their mobile phones. Then they said, what I could understand was, no ladies, no ladies. They began shouting at our driver too, saying, "You're from Kerala, you're a Malayali, don't you know you're not supposed to bring women here?" So that shouting, that hammering on the door, they didn't let the car move. We had to talk our way out of it. We reversed the car and finally managed to do a U-turn and leave the area, leave that dark forest road where it'd been surrounded by 10 to 15 men hammering on the windows, hammering on the doors. It was sheer intimidation. It's happened to so many women reporters today. It is, as you said, just not acceptable, absolutely unacceptable for people trying to do their work. So reporters, I mean, where would a woman devotee have been able to go up on a day which was supposed to be a celebration for them? The first day the Supreme Court had actually permitted women devotees to climb up to Sabarimala. Forget that. We were not even allowed to go and do our job there. It
Absolutely.
Was
and it's shameful, to do this in the name of faith, to do this in the name of religion. That's the most shameful part of this. And Sneha, to you, what are the authorities planning to do tomorrow? Because we have a tough few days ahead of us then. Today didn't go so well. So what are their plans tomorrow?
Well, Nidhi, that perhaps is an important question. There is prohibitory orders which are enforced right now till tomorrow in areas around Sabarimala. That should at least see that there will be, in a way, no unruly scenes, or at least that's what the police officials hope at this point. But it's very likely that there may be instances of violence, especially because there is a Hindu group which has called for a 24-hour hartal starting tomorrow noon. So that is again something which may create an environment, hostile environment. There might be attacks at different places. Police is looking at different means of how to be able to handle that. There was heavy police presence in several places in Sabarimala today. Let me tell you, at Nilakal or Pamba, wherever the attacks happen, even on journalists, it's not as if the police presence was not there. It was heavy presence, and most of these, all of these attacks, in fact, happened in the presence of the police. Now, the question really is whether the state government at least will tomorrow give out a strong message of a complete clampdown and intolerance towards any form of violence. Whether that will happen tomorrow or not is something that everybody will perhaps have to look, because behind all of this religious sentiments is also now politics. The left government definitely feeling the heat with BJP as well as Congress, both attacking the government for the way they have implemented the Supreme Court's order. They did not have any other option at the first hand. However, now the manner in which the CPM government actually handled this today, where they could have gone with an all-down clamp out, but it really was a message which was being given out, and that is something to be seen whether it will be continued tomorrow or whether this will be met with stiff resistance.
All right, Sneha, Maya, thank you very much for joining us, and just a message again to please stay safe and take care of yourselves first. So thank you for all your reporting today. Well, let's go straight across to our panelists this evening. We have Mr. M.B. Rajesh, who is a member of Parliament from the CPM from the state of Kerala. Usha Nandini is a lawyer and Ayappa devotee, and she has filed a review petition in the Supreme Court against the Supreme Court's order. Nishtha Gautam is the opinion editor at The Quint. We'll also be joined by senior Supreme Court advocate Kamini Jaiswal. Mr. Rajesh, we will go to him in 30 seconds. Kamini Jaiswal, to you first. It is actually shocking the impunity with which there is this brazen defiance of the Supreme Court order. Is there any way that the court can suo motu intervene and say that this is contempt of court? And what can it do?
They can. Court can suo motu issue contempt notice to the people, to the administration which is responsible for the law and order. But I am shocked with what I saw on TV today. Normally don't watch TV, but what I saw was appalling. I mean, is this, what faith is this? What religion is this? What practice is this? And you know, you want to protest, there are ways of protesting. But is this, these don't seem to be devotees. They seem to be lumpen elements who have no regard for the law and order, no regard for the woman. No, I mean, this is just shocking. What was going on is just shocking. And I think the Supreme Court should immediately issue contempt notice. And you know, you have some named people also over there, people who are known, who we see on your TV channels all the time, who have been opposing this judgment. So if the judgment goes against them, they are going to resort to this kind of a thing. I saw some of them talking to some, trying to oppose some women who were going up, saying we will lie down on the road and we will not permit you to enter, etc. At least those people can be lifted immediately.
Well, pretty strong words there from you, Ms. Jaiswal. I want to go across to Mr. Rajesh. Mr. Rajesh, I must ask though, what is the state government doing? Because our reporters on the ground also saw the police in many, many instances just standing there as bystanders, watching as this violence played out, as this intimidation played out. The state government honestly doesn't seem to be doing its job.
Nidhi, this is the first day of reopening this temple after the Supreme Court verdicts. And it's true that today police had some difficulty in identifying actual devotees and between actual devotees and hooligans. That has created some difficulty. And given the sensitivity of the issue and given the sensitivity of that area, police has kept utmost vigil and has maintained self-restraint. But this is not going to continue for long. The various ministers have made it clear today that please won't allow this to happen again, and those who are taking law into their hands will be dealt with strongly. Tomorrow, of course, police will take strong measures to ensure safe passage of women devotees, to prevent any untoward incident, to prevent antisocial elements from detaining passengers inside the vehicle and attacking media and women devotees who want to worship in Sabarimala.
You mentioned that hooligans are also active here. Are you suggesting that this has also become politicized, that opposition parties have also got mixed up in these attacks?
No doubt at all. The protest which is going on in Kerala today is political. It is totally political. And RSS and BJP is spearheading this protest with ulterior political motives, with the support of Congress. Both RSS, both Congress and Sangh Parivar, both have come together with their political motives. And the entire episode of violence is instigated by Sangh Parivar. You have seen how some speakers in that BJP state chief long march, the so-called long march, how they were making inflammatory speeches. One actor turned politician, he even given a call for tearing apart women who wanted to visit Sabarimala and throwing one part of
That's right.
body.
He had called for women to be chopped up in half. Okay, so you're clearly saying you're clearly accusing the opposition led by the Sangh Parivar of instigating these protests. But Usha Nandini, we also have seen plenty of women devotees, other devotees who say they are the real devotees, who have openly said that they don't agree with the Supreme Court order and will do anything and everything they can to prevent women from entering the temple. Now, you filed a review petition and you're very well within your legal rights to do that. But do you condone the way things played out today on the ground, the kind of violence that we saw, the intimidation that we saw?
See, first of all, I can say that, what had happened today is unfortunate. But the thing is that the state government is also playing a politics, because they have prevented the Devasam Board from filing a review petition. And the other thing is that, there were so many cases. I can point out one DGP Senkumar case and some Piravam Christian church case, and the government has taken double standard. See, when we are taking some other cases, government has taken some different stand, but in this Sabarimala case, why the government was in a hurry? They should have to approach the Supreme Court and say that, there may occur some law and order situation, and we need some time to implement this court order. They can very well do that. But unfortunately, they have not taken that stand, and they have prevented the Devasam Board from filing a review. Now, Devasam Board has not filed any review petition, and we have to consider the sentiments of the devotees. This is an.
So, what we're seeing on screen right now, are those sentiments of the devotees?
No, that I have already submitted that. It's very unfortunate. What had happened today is very unfortunate. And I have already filed a review petition before the Honorable Supreme Court against the judgment, and there were so many review petitions before Supreme Court, and now due to the holidays the court will be open only on 22nd. So regarding these issues I can't say anything.
Nishtha Gautam, it is, as we come back to the question, astounding how a Supreme Court order can be so brazenly defied, as we were talking right in the beginning as it is, but also how there doesn't seem to be any reconciliation between faith and reason, to be very honest. I mean, we have seen those who say they are devotees actually turn around and say women who want to go and enter the temple are not real devotees. And, you know, you have this bizarre back and forth that keeps taking place, Nishtha.
I just do not understand this, Nidhi. You know, how we are so quick as a society, we are so quick at handing out certificates to everybody, you know, that does not seem to be towing our own line. So you are not a good Hindu, you are not a good Muslim, you are not a real devotee. If a woman wants to worship a deity, we are quick at judging ki bhai you are you know, you are actually insulting the deity by even willing by I'm so sorry, there is a technical glitch. Yeah,
we can
sorry,
go ahead.
So you know, the certificate that we seem to be very quick at handing out, that you are not a good devotee if you want to go inside the temple and make a show of your devotion. This is, you know, it is, you know, here is a dovetailing of misogyny and a very convoluted understanding of religion and faith, that what I uphold is the thing, you know, this is the truth which everybody else has to, you know, has to take it or face consequences if they don't do it. I mean, this kind of militant upsurge when it comes to religious matters, it's quite alarming, and it's absolutely unfortunate how women seem to not see how misogynistic this idea is.